Yo, Doobies N Movies number 10, milestone episode, and a milestone Mandalorian episode to go with it. So, looking forward to dig into all of that. I'm joined by Steve, the Star Wars expert, and he's returned from his absence from internet to dish on the new Mandalorian, and we got Joel, who's becoming a regular fixture on the Doobies N Movies. But yeah, enough chit chat, enough pleasantries. Ahsoka, they didn't take any time, did they? Two seconds in, and she's in.
Yeah, incredible intro.
Yeah,
That was fantastic.
I loved it. I didn't want to build up to see Ahsoka. I wanted to see it straight away. Yeah. I wanted to see her killing people, killing droids or something, and it fulfilled straight away.
I was sick as well. Her like moving through the fog.
Yeah,
just coming back with the lightsabers.
Yeah,
so good, man.
Have you guys watched Rebels yet? I know you were trying to get there.
No, yeah.
Yeah, nah. So like, you see Ahsoka get those white lightsabers in Rebels, and it's just like, or her have them at least,
right.
And they're just so sick. Like I love the white. It's so much better.
Is she the only one that's got the white lightsabers
then? In the film series, yeah.
Yeah. But there's other people in the cartoons that have got white lightsabers.
In like Old Republic, like shit, like yeah.
So that's what they are. They're like Old Republic lightsabers, or
yeah. To be fair, there's a shout to Old Republic in this episode. That's like later on, so we'll get to that later.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah, it was a sick intro. After taking an episode, we thought she was coming last week. Obviously, then he had an adventure with his old mates instead, which was still sick, but then they wasted no time this week. Straight away, they knew what we wanted. And yeah, I loved the whole vibe. It was dark and ominous. The planet that they were on, like, had that kind of evil dictator tyrant that she was trying to kind of liberate a city, and he kind of helps her out doing that. It all felt very natural. That Mandalorian is on his character arc as well, as he's just starting to realize he's got more morals than possibly other bounty hunters or other Mandalorians have in the past. That he actually turns down such a appealing item or bounty, for lack of a better term, to actually like help her out. And also, I mean, mainly for Yoda, not necessarily for the people of that city, but even that, I mean, not Yoda, Grogu, we now know his name. Yeah, he did it for him mainly, but also you can tell that he didn't like the way that city was being run, and he quite liked that Asian man and their kids and the people that he met in the city. So you're starting to see, basically, that he's actually compassionate, and that's makes you want to root for him, because and it almost makes him more rebellious in a way, because he plays by his own rules, and they're actually more compassionate ones. But yeah, anyway, Ahsoka was done brilliantly. The look was perfect, in my opinion. They got it pretty much straight from the cartoon. But yeah, any other thoughts?
I also loved the kind of sincerity she was with, like, Baby Yoda or
Grogu.
Roku. But yeah, so I loved how, like, he was showing like his little powers with the stones or the metal bauble.
Yeah.
And it was just the bits where you got like quite a connection with Mando, and then Ahsoka kind of just saw like the bad side of that, and it was really kind of like a shout out to so much other shit.
Yeah, I love the bit where she's like, the Force is a field that permeates all living things.
Yeah,
going back to the Obi-Wan in A New Hope, you know, which is nice, because that's the whole debate: is the Mandalorians versus the Forces are like ethereal field, right?
Yeah.
And it's good because I think the last episode they referenced the M count, and then this episode they're saying the Force is it's a field that permeates all living things, right? Yeah. So it's good. I think they're trying to keep both of those ideas. They're not shutting out the prequel thing with the midichlorians, but they're still keeping that original idea of the Force, which I think is great. You know, I think they've walked the line between the two.
Yeah, I think the way that you had that in the last episode. It was a shout out to even Snoke and Palpatine and all.
Yeah, that was something we didn't mention in the last week, that the little Snoke creation hints.
Yeah. And what I really love about that is that Baby Yoda played a part in like creating that, and that's such like a dark thing to think about, that Palpatine has then done this kind of thing. Like even though I have my issues with the sequels, I do kind of respect this kind of connection.
No, it ties everything together. At least it makes it make sense.
Exactly, like it does kind of make things more plausible, and I'm liking that there's more depth to this whole concept, but there are still issues. But I think also the part where like Mando is so kind of fatherish to this thing that even he like feels the Force kind of like I reckon like as a thing now. Maybe.
Yeah, that's what it's almost like. That's what I'm saying. His arc of like finding compassion, and that almost leads into the Force, which is almost exactly what kind of George Lucas was playing with in the old films. I think there was definite Yoda Dagobah system vibes as well with her kind of and him, and no, there was a lot of nice touches.
With them moving the stone, right? Just even the fact that he was trying to move the stone is surely a reference back to Dagobah, right?
Exactly. It's all these lovely little touches that do really actually kind of make a lot of sense in the Star Wars universe. That isn't just kind of just action pieces where they've chucked in to make it sick. It's actual genuine like tactics around a board, which is kind of making it really like a much more intricate series, especially Mando as well. Because you've also, like we said from the last episode, you've obviously got Moff Gideon. Fuck me, Moff Gideon. Yeah, he's obviously on the move because he's just like mentioned with Darksaber and Baby Yoda talking to Bo-Katan about all this shit.
Sorry, I came really loud in my headphones there for a second. No, that's the thing, because obviously he didn't show up this week, but he's supposedly tracking Mandalorian's ship.
Yeah.
So whether that leads him to Ahsoka, possibly. Who knows what could happen? Because how are they going to keep her in? Because they can't just bring her for one episode.
No. She's been a big part of Clone Wars. She's been a big part of Rebels. She's been a big part of a lot of shit. So like, there's going to be way more of Ahsoka. Like it's going to be like little episodes of her being involved, like Cara Dune and all that lot, but maybe even more involved. I don't know.
I hope so. I really hope that she becomes a major character. And I don't know if you noticed, but this was the first episode that Jon Favreau didn't write. Dave Filoni from Clone Wars, as well as directing it, wrote it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very interesting to spot that, because they just gave him the reins completely to do Ahsoka's debut, both on a visual standpoint and on the page.
He was really good as well.
Yeah, it was really well done, to be honest. It was probably one of the best episodes. I mean, I feel like they're outdoing themselves quite a lot, or outdoing season one at least quite a lot this season.
I think it was the best episode of Mandalorian to date, without a doubt.
Yeah,
honestly, without a shadow of a doubt, for me, it was the best episode. Better than any of season one, better than anything this season. The action was fantastic. Just such a great build up. All the character points in Mandalorian were amazing, and it was all those little touches as well. So many just lovely little touches.
Yeah, I mean, even in the action scene, it's nice when Matey, the Asian guy, tells him, "Oh, look behind you for the final droid," because it's like these nice, touching moments.
Yeah. Well, even when he comes out to try and fight them before he realizes Mandalorian's there, they're going to get executed, and he comes out to try and help. Just little moments.
And then he helps him untie them or whatever, take them from their torture chambers. No, it is. Again, they have these guys, and he becomes chief at the end. That was so sweet. He becomes the new leader of the city.
That was so Star Wars kind of Disney shit.
Yeah. But such a nice little story. Again, it starts quite dark and ominous, and then kind of ends quite optimistic and joyful, which is kind of the tone balance that I feel like they keep getting right in throughout the series. The Anakin reference was cool as well about what was it?
Like the anger.
Yeah.
I've seen powerful Jedi, succumb to their anger.
Full trained Jedi.
Yeah.
Shit. It's such a good point. And it's so, because there's so much more you haven't seen of Clone Wars yet. You see you do see some really kind of good shit with Anakin.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, no, it is good. So I think when you've seen that, you'll have so much more of a grasp of what she's talking about. Like it's good. Like and I think the whole thing with like I can't not the magistrate like her fucking like top guy. You know, the guy who has like the standoff with Mando.
Yeah.
And, like, they're about to shoot each other, and he's like kind of pretending like putting it down, then gets the pistol and still tries with Mando. And Mando still just pauses and destroys the droid and like does all this shit. And yet Ahsoka's like fighting with lightsabers with Beskar, and like it's mad. Like Beskar, to be fair, Beskar I didn't know could do that much. I think like it might be like a pure Beskar thing, because I think other Mandalorians have worn normal Beskar like Boba Fett and that, and it hasn't deflected lightsabers. It does lasers sometimes, but not like that much. Like I think pure Beskar like can, like, because it's so shiny and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like good. She built up this idea of like, oh, pure Beskar, so
Yeah,
like
exactly. So I think like,
and she couldn't break it. So
yeah, you could like she defended well. The only thing she could do was disarm her. That was it.
I can't believe how well they got her look though. Like I was saying to Joel earlier, like I would have just taken them getting a good actor in and her looking a little bit different, but they managed to make her look literally like
Ahsoka.
Yeah, completely.
The weird fucking
hair or mane or something. Yeah.
Yeah. What it is.
Horns, maybe.
Horns. I don't know.
Yeah, somewhere in between.
I don't know. But yeah, so that like it looked really good, really realistic.
Yeah.
Like the color, like perfectly placed. All her kind of facial features as well. It was really good. Like it's kind of exactly what you expect of like a top, like well-funded Star Wars like thing to look, and it wasn't. You know, didn't look cheap, didn't look bad. It looked perfect.
Yeah, I'm quite impressed with that. I was quite impressed with. I've been quite impressed with the whole season, to be honest. I feel like each director that steps in has had their own little flavor, but each episode has kind of had to do with the one before more than last season, and the plot's still not completely clear. And but there's a kind of idea that it doesn't really need to be, because at the same time, like once things are resolved, it can't go too far. So it's good to enjoy the ride while it lasts. I'm sure it will start heading somewhere when it does conclude. I'm sure it will be really sick. And I would like that to be in a couple of years' time. I wouldn't like that to be like next season. So we'll see how far they go. I do think next epi we might deal with Moff Gideon and Ahsoka, like him following him to that planet or something like that.
I think that's very plausible, but yeah, it's more interesting of what, like, one thing I just realised that we haven't spoke about is one of the massive things, right? Is, do you know about Admiral Thrawn?
Oh, that was it. Yeah, that was what we wanted to bring into the conversation. That was a good thing to add.
Right. So, do you know much about him?
No, we were literally like, that name sounded familiar, but I can't remember from what. Yeah.
Big Rebels character. So basically, he's like, you know how you get like Moff Gideon and you got like Moff Tarkin from the Death Star and all this shit. Moff is a rank, and Admiral Thrawn is like the fucking top guy. He takes orders only from Palpatine. He's the guy who wears like a white like thing. He looks so much different to every other officer. He's what's called a chiss, which is a blue human with red eyes.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. And like, so he's just like the fucking top guy. He commands like the whole Imperial Navy. He's like the top boy, and he's like a big character against the rebels before the Empire falls. And then he supposedly loses whatever, blah blah blah, and then you know, he supposedly disappears or whatever, and then like now he's back, which is this huge reveal that he's, you know, suddenly this kind of character that may well still be in the, because this is supposed to be like 5 years after the Empire's fallen, right, or some around that time.
Yeah, I just know it's after. I don't know how many years. Yeah,
about 5 years. About like it's a bit rough. It's not perfect timing. Like I can't really tell. Like it's a bit weird. But yeah, so it's a long time after he's been seen, and like he's played him and Ahsoka were enemies at one point, so it's quite important to Ahsoka's story as well. But there's also throwouts to a couple other things you'll realise when you watch it. But it's just, it's a really, really good like point, because that's another real enemy that we don't really know about. So Moff Gideon could have a superior, which is
that is sick, and it's interesting because it almost gives Mandalorian a bigger sense of purpose. And I actually wonder whether it was the plan all along, or they decided it as they went along. But to use Clone Wars and Rebels and all these other things from the universe and try and give more conclusion to it and tie it more into the rest of to live action and stuff. I don't know. It's so good that you wonder why the films didn't even think that. Because I was even thinking, watching this, why didn't the films think, oh, we'll pick up with people like Ahsoka and things like that?
It's clever as well from like a marketing point of view, even.
Yeah.
Like now, how many people are going to go away and watch Clone Wars and Rebels? Right?
Yeah,
like not that many people have even seen them. Not like
more Clone Wars than Rebels. Yeah.
So many people are going to go away and watch them and find out who Ahsoka is.
Clone Wars is still really popular, but I know what you mean.
It is popular, but still, like, there's so many Star Wars fans that haven't watched it. I mean, like me and Anton, we never. And I think there's a lot of people like that. And now everybody who's got Disney Plus is going to go away and watch those series.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a
very move. Little plug for Disney Plus from Joe. they paying you for that.
Our sponsor this week is Disney Plus.
So now that we've gone through Thrawn, we can go through the other massive thing that was like what I did.
There was another massive thing. Okay.
Yeah, big time, right? Yeah. So Tython.
Oh
yeah,
the planet Tython that she says, yeah.
Planet, yeah. So like that planet is a huge shout out to the Old Republic. Like basically in the Old Republic, the Jedi Council, the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. That was destroyed, like it was in ruins. The Sith came back and ravaged it and completely destroyed them, killing bare Jedi, all this shit. It was a massacre, right? So after that fell, the Jedi kind of recouped and then went to a planet called Tython, which is another kind of Jedi mystical planet shit. And like they had a massive temple that was ancient or something, and that became the Jedi home. So it's like a ancient ruin of like an old Jedi, like massive like home. And so there'll be some like massive spiritual thing that will happen there. Like Star Wars, I have no fun.
What do you think, Steve? What do you think the chances are of seeing Mark Hamill in this at some point? Because surely Luke Skywalker's about, right?
I think it's
in the time period.
Yeah.
And he's not a huge actor, so it's totally possible that they could bring him in at some point, right?
No, it's not possible.
If anything, it's just the relationship between them and him at this point.
Right, because
he does the new films quite a lot. I think that's the only. It's not his size because they've got bigger actors than him in Mandalorian already. I'd say that it's more that relationship issue.
But if they're also at this point, I mean, I know they're not completely, but surely they're a little bit kind of disregarding the new films.
Right? Yeah, I would say honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he was in it. I'm just saying that might be just a thing.
Right.
Because
I'm thinking with the going to Typhon and stuff, it's like, who are the other Jedi that they might be able to contact? Is it going to be
I was wondering
Spirit World or something?
It's got to be Luke.
But it could be a spirit Jedi as well. You could get who knows,
If there's a spirit thing, then Obi-Wan wouldn't be too impossible with the fact that they're already filming scenes of him.
Yeah, it's definitely not impossible. Like
they could have just got an extra shot of him with some mocap doing a ghost speech. Oh, Ewan, you got look, just stay for one more hour today. We just got to do this little Mandalorian thing. It wouldn't be anything. They'd be like, oh, all right, laddie.
But I think they'll bring in someone, right? Like they're building up this. It's not like we're gonna go and we're not gonna get anything. I think they're gonna give us a really nice surprise by the end of the season.
Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
Hayden Christensen. That'd be a bit mad.
But it's been a good epi. If no one has anything else to say, then I think we'll do a quick rating and wrap it up.
Yeah, I mean, I've got pretty high ratings, to be honest. I couldn't floor it too much.
Out of 10, what would you say?
8.5, 9.
Yeah, Joe.
Wow, I got higher, man. I'm saying, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was really close to a 10. I'm not sure what else they could have done, man. It was such a good episode.
You're not wrong.
Well above a 9.
I don't
Easy 9, maybe 9.5. I can't quite give it the 10 because it's not that, but it's such a good episode.
I'm with Steve. A high 8 for me.
Okay. Yeah.
I think there's always room for better. Without criticizing it, I do think it was the best episode yet. But a 9 just seems a little bit like, there just had to be just an extra bit of spice for me to give 9s. I don't give 9s very often.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Not correct, but yeah, cool.
But yeah, no, it was the best episode yet. Big up Dave Filoni, big up Rosario Dawson, the rest of the crew. You're doing good jobs over there. And Joel wants you to get Disney Plus. But no, thanks everyone. Doobies N Movies 10. There's more coming. There's a few more coming very soon. So keep on that. Safe.